My name is Diana León Campuzano, and nowadays I am studying the master degree in teaching English in Universidad y Expro.
Wow.
It is a video presentation to pass the subject of teaching English through translation. The name of my master is Allen Ricardo Aquino Trinidad, and in this video I will show you a little information about a brief history of translation. So if you want to know more information, follow me. So we are here now again, and we will continue in this little video presentation where we will talk about Unit 1, that it is about a brief history of translation up to the 1980s. So follow me. The first subtopic that we will check it here in this video presentation is about translation in ancient Rome. And if you can see in the screen, I am showing you two pictures. One about San Jerónimo and the second is San Agustin. They are the first translation theorists in Roma. The only problem that the Romans people said is that what kind of meaning, right? At the time that you want to translate something, you have different meanings, right? You have the sentence meaning, the urgency meaning, and the functional meaning. This is the big problem that the Roman people said. The problem is to determine what meaning is the correct one, two, or three, which one. We will continue with the other subtopic, that it is modern approaches to translation. And in this first paragraph, I want to make a little quote about Ezra Pound. He said that the necessity to translate rhythm, diction, and movement and forget about the style. A worked scholarly literary translation. So it means that it will be totally different the way that you translate the rhythm, the diction, and the movement. But it is not the same that you make a normal translation that you want to make the literary translation, because obviously we have to check it here many points like semantics, pragmatics, etc. We will continue now, but we will make a little quote about Queen. And he said, I love it this part because I am totally agree with him. He said, it doesn't matter at which level we posit the existence of equivalence, word for word, phrase for phrase, sentence for sentence. There will, there will always be a problem of referentially and indeterminacy depend on text type and the target of the translation. And I totally agree here because I am sure that it is not the same that you make a translation in a scholar way. It's totally different that you make maybe a scientific translation. Everything depends of the text type and the target of the translation. As I told you at the beginning, it is not the same that you make a translation for uh, maybe for the high school guys that make the same translation to the doctors. So it's totally different. This is the reason that I say I am totally agree with Quine. And now, we will continue, but now I will make a little quote about Eugene Nida. And he said that the translations should be invisible and the best translations have always been according to Nida. What it means? It is still are according to literary critics reviewing translated books, those that read as if they were originals in the target language. Uh, in this part, we are referring that it is not the same, obviously, that if you want to make a translation in maybe I understand that maybe in American English that in British English, because it is not the same way. So maybe we can talk about the same language but not the same way because each culture is totally different. And in this part, we will mention a little, but after. And in this video, we will continue with the last subtopic. It is transatability. And here, we will talk about a little information with Bloomfield in 1933. And he said, only scientific texts could be translated as the meanings of the language don't agree with scientific classification. As I told you some maybe minutes or seconds before, it is not the same that you make a translation for the high school guys that the same translation for doctors or maybe for engineers or for another people. All of the translation depending a lot of about the target, about the text, about the type of the text. We will continue with a little information about Mario Wondrushka. And he said that in both, it means that in theory as in practice, it is impossible to translate completely a text from one language to another. And in this part also I am totally agree with him because I consider that for more things that you want to teach in whatever language, never will be the same that you learn like a native speaker or like a native learner because the foreign people want to understand, want to teach, want to learn everything about this language or this text that you want to translate. Consider that translate, but I think, in my personal opinion, I think that never will be the same like the native speaker or learner as a foreign learner. And now, so in this part, I will make a little quote about Garcia Gebra. And he said that if the translation had to reproduce all the details of the formal, lexical, morphological, and syntactic structure of the text, it would be in effect impossible. Because he said that the translation doesn't consist in exactly reproducing the formal structures of a text that will be copying of the text, not translating. So I am totally agree here because I consider that if you want to make a specific translation, it will be a little difficult that you make in the best way like foreign learner because it is not the same that you start to study the lexical, the morphological, and the syntactic structure like foreign learner, like the native learner, because I think that here you will start with a little problem in all of these points. We are nearest at the end, but I want to conclude with Octavio Paz, and he said that we also have to take into account the difference in culture. And obviously, as always, I am totally agree here because, like foreign learners, we don't take in account that just, for example, like English teachers, we have to be careful because you are teaching not just the language, also you are teaching culture. And I think that the people that study the translation or that study the language don't take account that it is not the grammatical lectures, that listenings, that speakings, that readings. It is not all the language because the language contains culture, people, gastronomy, music. So the language contains all of that. This is the reason that, in my personal opinion, and in conclusion, I will say that it will be difficult that you want to make the perfect or the best translation because we don't understand many important parts of that culture, depending of the language of that culture. And it will be difficult that we make the best translation. Here I am showing you my
Thank you so
reference.
much to follow me in this video. I hope that all of the information that I talk with you will be in the best useful way. So thank you so much. I hope that you like it and see you in the next. Bye bye.